Hey allies, it's Tom, the delightful Delaney, and the magnificent Mike. Mike just started recently working at the store, but I've known him for, I think I met him about 3 months after the store opened. He actually came in the store, and I had a partner prior to this, and he met with my partner, and he came in and he's like, hey, I've got some comic books back home in my storage locker. I'm up here, I work in the military, he's a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. And all it's back home with my folks, but I've got a bunch of comic books. So Vince's like, yeah, we might be interested. He goes, well, I've got a bunch of stuff that I bought back when I was a kid, and I speculated on it. So what he speculated on, believe it or not, is Amazing Spider-Man 300, and also Amazing Spider-Man 252. He bought some other books, but the big part of the story is about the 300s. So he tells Vince, I have over, I think around 100 or a little over 100 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 300. So Vince is relaying the story to me, and I go, wait, what does this guy look like? He goes, well, your typical guy, he wears glasses, and he's, just average. And I said, he's full of it. Nobody in 1988 went out and bought in bulk and speculated on Amazing Spider-Man 300. Most people didn't even think that book was going to work. They didn't have faith in McFarlane. So Mike comes in and meets with me, and after having a conversation with him, I realized he's not lying. He does have all these books. So, Mike, what makes you decide in the first place to buy over 100 Amazing Spider-Man 300s?
Oh, okay, so over 101 book that's a big feat for a kid who's like 11 to 12 years old. But the big thing was I started in comics around 79 and 80 when I was really young, 5-6 years old. I love the storylines. As a kid, you like the excitement, you like the adventure, you like the beginnings of the superpowers, and as a kid, you want to think that you're going to be one of those guys. So I got caught into the genre. I wasn't really a collector, but I do take care of everything that I own. So
right.
I would buy the books, I would read the book, I would bag it, I would board it, I would stick it in a box.
So all this period of time have all been bagged and boarded as well? That's amazing. Most people weren't doing that in 88.
Yeah, no, from the very beginning I was doing that. But I wasn't really thinking about doing this, entertaining this hobby as a collecting hobby. It was just I just love the genre. And then this book came out, and I saw it sitting on a shelf. Amazing Spider-Man 252. Red suit Spider-Man was my dream Spider-Man. Suddenly they were doing something really different with him. I thought the book was amazing. I actually was amazed at, why am I saying amazing to an Amazing Spider-Man? This was a fantastic book.
Because words fail.
Yes, they do. So I thought, this is the beginning of something really cool. Plus, I really liked the cover of the book, so I wanted to buy 2 of them. One to read, and I know that when I read it, I ding up the edges a little bit. I just wanted to have one as artwork. One that was going to look good forever, and I wanted to hang on my wall. So I went in, I bought this, and I bought another one. A friend of mine came with me, and he said, hey, you know what, we should buy, if we buy 10 of these, they're going to give us a discount. And the discount was like 5 cents at the time. So we bought 10 of these books. That was my first big purchase.
So how old were you when you said you started collecting these? Or bagging and boarding them?
Well, I probably was 8, 9, 10 years old when I started.
See, that's just like,
very young.
And no 8-year-old is thinking of that, like, that's some OCD right there, but that's, so
there's still some.
Yeah, so this book, why don't you tell us why this is special?
Well, first thing is I just love the appeal to it, and for me, the red and blue Spider-Man moving to the black suit was, I thought the look was just really cool. But really, it's an homage to Amazing Fantasy 15, and it's also the first actual reveal of the symbiote that later comes out.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what any of that was just by looking at this color. This cover, I just said, that's a really cool looking, evil looking Spider-Man, and I want it.
How many copies of that book do you have?
I probably have not many. I mean, I say not many. I have about 8 or 9.
And they're all graded?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is the only one that I've graded. Actually,
That's a 9.8.
I did get another one.
You got another one graded that came back, I think, a 9.0, but this one came back a 9.8. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have 2 graded and about 6 or 7 wrong.
Oh.
By this one.
So you bought 10 of these, and then this is 252, this is 300, so there's a couple more years before this thing comes out.
Yeah.
What were you doing in between this book and this book?
Probably what we need to talk about. So Marvel really kind of feeling that McFarlane and them were about to bolt, and they could just tell. So they wanted to kick in a new universe with a whole new team. Just like a whole brand new set of whatever.
How many of those do you have? Did
I
those
have
come
10
out at the same time?
Yeah, they all came out in '86.
Oh, okay.
Marvel said we got to revive the brand. They had a feeling that some of the older guys were getting disgruntled, so they wanted to get a new team, younger people to do these.
Oh, okay.
And so these were, I think they were about 3 or 4 years worth of the runs.
They all like spacey? That's what they kind of seem like.
No, but they all have something.
So you get done with the 252, you decided the spec game might be for you. What did you decide to do next?
Well, I jumped back into the comics. Was looking for new blood. New Mutants was good. X Factor was really good. And then this series of New Universe that Marvel tried to put out was really good. I don't know if I'm on the screen or not.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so Side Force, Justice, Spitfire, Merc, Night Mask, DP7, Kickers Incorporated, Starbrand were all new titles for young guys like me. I thought, oh, these are pretty good stories. They're brand new to the Marvel Universe. I'll buy into all these storylines, and I'll buy spec books as well, since it's all new. So I bought 10 of each of the number ones. Storylines lasted for about 2 or 3 years. I liked them, but they fizzled. They didn't go anywhere. I still have everything in my collection. Not graded, but it just didn't seem to do as well as the 252.
And you feel, there's a lot of people who feel that these books were brought in reaction to the fact that they were worried about losing McFarlane, Bledfeld, all those guys that were getting ready, or Jim Lee, all those guys were getting ready to jump ship. And you thought that this was in direct response to that?
Yeah, if not response, maybe the catalyst. It had a role in it. You know, between '86 and '91, all of that happened, and this was like, I think, Marvel trying to grab fresh blood, new people that weren't about to revolt.
Well, maybe for the best of all this, none of it's caught on so far.
Yeah.
Youngblood. The only one that really caught on was Spawn.
Yeah.
And that comes from the whole Image, them breaking off.
Yeah.
None of these guys did, but you never know. I mean, the thing about it is that Marvel's always looking for new things to do, and especially with all the streaming services and stuff. So they may decide to kickstart these as an independent run,
Yeah.
or as an anime, or who knows what. So, you know, you speculated this long, and these books are all in excellent condition. These are all near mint. I don't see any very few spine ticks or anything with them, so they're all in excellent shape. So you may still have something there. You know, if they came into my shop, I would get rid of them just because I can't have that much inventory all the time. But if they can just sit there, these might be books worth just letting sit there, because you never know what's going to happen with them.
Yeah.
They're always going back into the vaults looking for new material.
Yeah.
So
And for me, it's the nostalgia's worth keeping. So.
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, killer stuff, really.
Yep.
And I had a question about keeping them in shape. With being a lieutenant colonel, you probably have been stationed quite a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they pay for you to be moved. Did you move that yourself, or did you let them touch those?
No. So for my books, for the majority of my books, I left them with my parents.
Oh, okay.
When I joined the Air Force, my first assignment was Ramstein Air Base, Germany. My second assignment was Kutztown, Korea. My third assignment was Spangdahlem, Germany, and then I was going to have one at Lakenheath, and then the Pentagon, and then now here at DC, or at Scott Air Force Base. So moving these books all over the world like that would not have been good for them.
No.
So you didn't recently, or you didn't get them until you've been here?
Yeah. So I really, when I joined the Air Force, that was kind of the end of the comic book collecting hobby for me. I was all on board with the Air Force. Comic genre was only movies and maybe a toy or two along the way, talking about it with my buddies, but the collecting piece was over for 20 years.
Wow.
Now I reopened, when I got to Scott Air Force Base, I kind of made the decision, this is going to be my last base, it's my dream home here.
Yeah.
And that's when I came looking for somebody, Tom, and say, hey, what do I really have here?
Yeah.
And I think Vince was the first guy that I saw.
This is a great story too, because tell them how, Vince is who you met with, but tell them what you brought in these books with you, I think, right?
Yep.
And then you brought this book with you.
Yep.
And then you brought a copy of this, and was there another couple of other okay Marvel titles, right?
Yeah, I had Amazing Spider-Man number 2, New Mutants 98.
Right. Okay, that's two great books.
Yeah, a couple good books.
A couple mediocre, just Amazing Spider-Man number 2 and Amazing 98. Anyway, so you brought those in, and Vince starts breaking it down for you.
Yeah.
Now he explained you. Now, what did you think was the hero? What did you think was the best book out of all of them at the time?
I thought this was the book.
Right.
From my childhood, this is the book. And honestly,
Yeah.
no matter what, this is my number one favorite Spider-Man book in the entire run.
Gotcha.
For whatever reason, this is just it.
Yeah.
But Vince said, no, I think you got some better ones in there. And I was shocked at what the better ones were.
Yeah. So he mentions just in passing, but Vince is like, this is the best book. This is the book that Vince can't quit looking at. Of course, is Amazing Spider-Man 300. And that's when Mike lets him know, hey, I've got over 100 copies of this. And he's, thrilled as he should be because he hit the mother load. The one thing that he went all in on paid off for him in an amazing way. I mean, and the thing about it is that how many of the books you have, like, over 50% of them left, right?
Say about 40.
About 40%.
Yeah, about 40.
And like you've made a trade with a store in your hometown.
Yeah.
That now, what was that all about?
Well, I made quite a trades with them down there. I've gotten some Ultimate Fallout 4, Miles Morales, 9.8s. Just because when I came here and I realized, hey, there's money, there's investment money in this. So I just started talking to you a little bit about what's like this decade's investment specs.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned those. And when I went down there and I said, hey, I've got these 300s, I took the worst of them out. The bottom of the ones that had dings and things like that, and I just traded raws for those Miles Morales. So I have 2 or 3 Miles Morales 9.8s. I got an Avengers 4 Captain America 3.5. But that filled my run of Avengers.
Right.
So I really wanted to get that book. So I was able to trade some of the lower end raw books for some really desirable books. And that's all my collection now.
And as you continue to invest the money and traded them off and everything else like that, you've been able to secure some grails because of these books as well, right?
Yeah.
So like you were able to get ASM 1 because of these books. You're able to get an ASM 4, Amazing Spider-Man 4, First Green Goblin. I think a 129, or you're still looking for a 129, right?
I got 2.
You got 2.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's just like pretty much Mike's working on completing a run, and you're only 3 or 4 books from being done, aren't you?
Yeah, so Avengers I'm completely done. For Spider-Man, I'm only missing 2.
Wow. So 2.
And I'll get those out of this.
Yeah.
Are they all graded or are they raw too?
They're not all graded,
Okay,
but
I figured some might not be even worth getting graded, but just having.
Yeah.
I think I've got some good quality raws too. So I'll be working with Tom in the next 12 months to, a lot of my big Spider-Man books are graded, and then I have some big ones that are raw. I'm going to bring all those into Tom, and he's going to give me his pro opinion and say which one should be graded, or which one should I just sell and then go buy a graded one.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It really is. I mean, because he just shows up with these books, and I would say about, if you follow the channel, or if you've seen anything, you see a lot of 300s come up. And I would say at this point, about 80% of them have all been Mike's. He's been trusted me, and we just keep sending them to the CGC, and they come back, and we're doing 5 to 10 at a time. And it's been good for me. It's been great for him. It's been great having all this great content that's been coming through the store with these books too. Because I mean, it's nobody gets tired of looking at 300s, and they just keep coming in, and there keeps becoming stories that come along with it as well, because Mike wasn't sure about grading, and I'm telling you, Mike, it's the only way you get secure. Everything else. Bring me one of your best ones. I'm telling you, we'll send it off and we'll see what happens. So he brings me a book. I look at him. I go, Mike, I can't guarantee it, but I think this book is a 9.0, at least maybe a 9.2. We'll send it off. We'll get it clean, pressed, and everything. We wait the 6 months. It comes back. It comes back at 7.5, and it comes back at 7.5 in 2018, around there. This is close to a break-even number at this point, and I've got egg on my face. It's the best looking 7.5 you've ever seen in your life. I mean, I've shown it to everybody, every collector that comes to the store, because I had it for a while because Mike's in the service, and he was stationed out of country for a period of time. So I had the book in my hands that period of time, and I would show people, can you believe this? And they would go, no. So there must have been some interior staining or something along those lines with that book. So I thought I'd lost all credibility. I think I did a little bit, but eventually as he came, as he got back, he started feeding me more books. And like I said, it's been great for the YouTube channel. It's been great for Mike. I just love being a part of the story now. because it's just amazing. I mean, for what were you, 12 in '88?
Yep, roughly.
Roughly 12 years old for a 12-year-old, and you know, two 12-year-olds to be like, hey, let's do this, and for him to have these sitting nowhere for over 30 years. And all of a sudden decide, well, maybe I should go back into him, and still doesn't know that this is the hero. He's got over 100 of these, and
Yep.
he's got nothing but money.
I
thought this
swore
one.
this is the one. I was going to dig this out and make my money off of this one.
So it's just an amazing story, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. We'll continue to bring you the books as they come back, and any other updates that come along with it as it goes, because I'm sure, you know, Mike's got to get those last 2 books, so we got to do a video when you complete the run, and it's just great. I really appreciate you sharing it with me, Mike.
It's awesome.
Great. So
I was gonna give you a high five.
yeah, I think high fives were apropos, actually. Well, that's it. Delaney will be back in just a second. Make sure to hit that like and comment button, and we'll see you next time.
Hey allies, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you want to. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us on Facebook for a bunch of updates. We do Facebook live sales almost every Thursday. Pops, comics, toys. We are now selling on Whatnot, also doing auctions on Whatnot. Follow us on TikTok. We post a bunch of funny videos. A lot of the new stuff that comes through in the store goes on TikTok. Our comics, our toys, everything on TikTok. And lastly, follow us on Instagram. We mostly repost on Instagram all the other stuff for updates. And you guys have a good day. Bye.